Hello and welcome back to Yonder World. If you like the video, then please by all means leave a comment and leave a like on the video so that it lets me know that you have enjoyed the video. Are you sure you want to do this? Honestly, I'm not sure. I look between the pillar bearing my name and the key in my palm. I'm curious about Aksan, but I need closure? It's kind of stupid, really. I'm not ready for Aksan's memories, just so you know. Okay, I didn't expect this to be the path. I'm curious about Aksan. I do want to know more about Aksan. Moreover, I want to know why she was so defensive towards me when we first met, and maybe deduct why she decided to reach out to help me. She said our relationship is strictly professional, transactional if I remember correctly, but I don't think that's the case, not wholly, only the majority. If that's truly the case, then Aksan had no reason to defend me when Finian needled at me. Shouldn't have to reach out when I was down, or even get Udin to help me. I understand. I will be waiting here. Just remember to focus on the memory you want to relive, and think of a haul when you want to get back. Otherwise, it can get out of hand. And I'm not speaking from first-hand experience. Yeah, I will. Thanks, Odin. Come on, protagonist, have some more confidence. He nods and backs away a little. I, on the other hand, step closer to my pillar. This feels more like a computer than a magical device. Just think of it then as a magical device with certain digital capabilities. Okay, academic memory. Well, learning about someone's academic memory is not what you would truly call one of some kind of greater importance, because I think the discipline memory talks about you as an individual rather than what's on paper. I focus on the memory of heaven's disciples, of the strict laws and righteous values we all exist by. I think about the punishments given to those who forget, the ultimate sentence for those who willingly betray heaven, but then again you're not in heaven. With that, I clench my teeth and turn the key. And, I'm sorry if there was a notice, but why are we here, and with such little warning? No, you did not miss anything, Flarus. There is, unfortunately, an unforeseen event. Ah, right. My caretaker doesn't elaborate, so I curiously look around instead. The terraces and balconies overlooking the edge of heaven are rather crowded, full of fresh-faced angels like myself. They seem to come with their carers like mine. I try to spot a familiar face in the crowd, but my attention is pulled away by my caretaker tapping me on the shoulder. Be on your best behaviour, Flarus. Right. All around me I can hear the others of my age range being told the same, sorry. A surprise formal event, huh? Heaven is not known for such spontaneous decisions, so I'm inclined to think this is a drill of some kind. It isn't. As we stand staring into a blinking starry night, a flash of light sears into our vision. It happens too quickly and a figure is too far away. But I know enough. I know enough from the texts I've read, I can feel it in every fibre of my being. God himself. The instinct to cower and fold my wings tightly to my spine as another's are being ripped off their back. Or the fear instilled into all of the heavenly bodies at our creation, upon seeing one's halo shattered. This is a punishment. This is an angel's fall from grace. The initial shock is beginning to wear off, and I can hear others my age weeping. I stand rooted at the spot, wide eyes staring at the streak of light that once was an angel as it plummets into darkness below. I stare until my vision begins to blur. It is only then do I realize I too have been crying. There is a wretched feeling in my heart, filled with sorrow and terror as the light of God's grace died out. Yep, and it's surely not going to be the only one of that century. But also, there was guilt for feeling that sorrow, knowing that whatever this angel had done, they deserved their punishment. They do, or were they wrongly punished? I choked back a sob, seeing my caretaker's displeased glance. But why? For defying God's will and going against our code. But should there be more reasons for their punishment? Well, you didn't exactly lay out the reason as to why, the events that build up towards why they deserved said punishment. You never laid out the reasons, you just said, well, they deserve it, but we're not going to tell you what they did, but they just deserved it, okay? Well, no, but nothing, Phalaris. My lips tremble, unable to form words. Seeing this, my caretaker sighs, putting a warm hand on my shoulder. These unfortunate events are rare, but they are never easy to witness, especially to young ones like you. But you're going to have to learn someday that if you defy us, then that is what will happen to you. But you must understand, Phalaris, that we are angels. Our very existence is a blessing, for we carry the grace of God within ourselves. We are the beacons of virtue and goodness for those who believe in us. We exist for our Lord, and are the carriers of His grace, the messengers of all that is holy and sacred. But are you all so sacred as you say? Your wings and halo might seem heavy to bear at times, but it is the greatest honor of all. Do you understand, Phalaris? Yes, I do, caretaker. Very good. Now let us depart. Your next lesson is due in an hour. Oh, by the way, your next lesson is also going to be like that one that just fell. Tumbling downwards into darkness. But then you wake up. Yes, caretaker. Keeping my head lowered, I follow the line away from the edge. From on the edge of darkness. It was difficult to keep my tears at bay, as the image of the fallen angel's last moments in heaven replays itself over and over in my head. It's always the most shattering of the memories that replays over and over again, because that's the bit that you remember the most negative part of it all, of them all. Fear and a strangely hollow feeling push against the confine of my chest. But why? I thought revisiting this memory would bring me the clarity that I needed, but it seems I was wrong. I need to go back. Take me back to Yonder, please. Memory registered. Phalaris' available exchange 1. Shivering, I barely register what the hall has announced. Phalaris. Somehow during my trance I have dropped to my knees, the hard floor against my skin helps ground me, but I lean my burning forehead against the pillar, heaving. Cold sweat soaks through my clothes as I tremble uncontrollably. Still, I wave Odin away, needing the space to fill my lungs and keep my head from spinning. The only reason I don't just break down crying is because Odin is here. I don't know how long it takes me to calm down, but eventually I manage to shakily dry my tears and stand up. Phalaris? I'm fine, I think. Judging by the look on his face, I don't look fine at all. Based on the reflection of the memory pillar, I even look a bit green. Before doing this, I did brace myself mentally of what I was about to re-experience, but I did not expect it to hit me this hard. That was pretty tough. The first time often is. Do you want to leave? Stand up, I wipe my forehead and take in yet another deep breath. I'm alright. Right. So. Sensing my hesitation, Odin helpfully points. Aksan's pillar is over there. Thanks. Slowly walking over, I nervously glance up at Odin. Any advice? Just relax. it will be. It will be strange at first, seeing things in another person's point of view, seeing things as them. But this will get easier once you're used to it. Alright, here goes nothing. Taking my key out, I suck in a deep breath before turning the lock. Recognize Furious Angel. Requesting access. Akarashi, last queen of the Russian Empire. Access granted. Anyways, why is she the last queen? Query. Memory request? No, just an exchange equivalent to mine, I guess. Requesting Rami, random access memory exchange. Request granted. Huh? Ah! Oh dear. Everything spins. Disorientated in a second. I flail my arms but come in contact with nothing. I scream but no sound comes out of my mouth. It's either you are screaming and you can't hear it, or you're not screaming at all. A distinct rage threatens to overcome me. A rage that is not my own. Aksan's. Oh, hello. I open my mouth to scream, but the sound that comes out is definitely not one. And what kind of demoness are you? This is not your usual hunt. The creature, my mind, Aksan's mind, knows as Lena, the Blood Queen. She's terrifying to say the least, but sight in Aksan is eased upon seeing her. Almost like she's sort of a friend of hers, but still, I'm not going to trust her anytime soon. Not anytime soon. Please, spare me the chit-chat and get to the point. What happened to you? I don't know what happened to me. What happened to you and your arms? I've just realised that you don't have any arms. Instead, your arms are floating. Fury surges forward, but I keep a lid on it. This is not the time. Is that Aksan's thoughts? I was careless, got too trusting. Lena wears a complicated expression. She must have heard then. I cannot fix this. I know. Let me see. I tense at the request, but comply nonetheless. If there is one being left in this wretched world I can trust, that would be Lena. Holding my left arm forward, I stay still as a spectral hand gently curls around it. Aksan's arm. The golden arm. It's missing! Or is this before she got the arm? Having examined my arm thoroughly, Lena sighs and lets go of the stump. I have heard about what happened to your people. My condolences. What happened to her people? I scoff, but then sigh, ignoring the spike of pain that goes through me. Thank you. What are you planning to do now? I must free their souls. It is my duty as queen. Ah, so that's why she's the last queen of their empire. It's because it might be an empire now that has fallen far from its grace. Alone? Akran, that's suicide. They will tear you apart. I know. That is why I am here. You know I cannot help you with this. I cannot go there. I am well aware, but you know someone who can. It takes a moment for Lena to understand where I am getting at. My lips thin as she looks upon me in shock. Akranshi, no! I am not redirecting you to a demon. Are you sure? That is the only way. To combat against the heavenly host, it has to be its opposing force. Do you understand what the price will be? They will ask for more than just your soul for this. Eternal servitude, eternal damnation. They will take until there is nothing left of you, and may not even fulfill their end of the bargain. But this would serve as a perfect excuse for them to go against the heavens. Even if they do not intend to keep their end of the deal, It would give me the necessary window to rescue my people. Lena only grows more upset at my reasoning. She floats forward, her blood-stained face only inches away from mine. But why the closeness, though? Do you not understand? When I said they are not going to fulfill their end of the bargain, I mean it will not be what you wish for. They will take your people's souls, for they now have nowhere to go. This time I don't bother to hold back my rage. Then what do you suggest? The Republic is going to sacrifice my people's eternal souls so the heavenly host can wipe out the rest of our gods. You can see in ways why Aksan has some kind of repentfulness for both demons and angels. When she needed their services the most, the demons did not answer to her. But the angelic beings are the ones that are supposedly this heavenly host.
The Holy War is lost.
The Holy War is lost.
Is there no one else I can turn to?
There is no one else I can turn to. My body trembles with rage and fear, and an overwhelming helplessness at how true my last statement is. I have no one to blame but myself for this. There is someone. My head snaps up her admission, but hesitation gives me pause. What would the cost be? You are getting so reckless that it's unlike you. Desperation is self-preservation's best subjugator. Well said. When is ritual... We're going through so many different topics here, I'm not able to keep up with what's taking place. When is ritual going to take place? The next holy celebration. Right. We have time then. Come back in 3 moons. I cannot promise you that this will work, but if it does, it will be a much better alternative for you and your people than going to some damned demons. With my limited time, 3 moons is a lot to ask, but I trust you, Lena. Do not make me regret it. I know. I swear upon my title as queen, but I shall not betray you like she did. But darkness takes me by surprise. One by one, Aksan's seething emotions leave me as I plunge through the space in between and back to the Hall of Memory. Aksan, the angels of her world. I'm sorry. It's not your fault. Flerus, you're not the one who directly caused Aksan's suffering. Flerus's available exchange, 0. Another painful memory. I am once again kneeling on the floor, but at least I am not in tears. My emotions, however, are in disarray. Flerus, are you alright? Yeah, thanks. I let him help me to my feet, as my body is racked with tremors. Thankful that Odin doesn't seem to have any questions. I'll take a moment to center myself before leaving the hall. I have much to think about. I have much to ponder through. Day 3 after finding the greenhouse. The headache I wake up with is excruciating. The sharp pain makes me curl tightly under the blanket, whimpering as I rub at my scalp futilely. By all accounts, I have had a full sleep. There weren't any nightmares, not to the extent of what I usually have, but the dreams weren't exactly pleasant either. Most of them were just flashes of memories, jumping from one thing to another. Some just didn't even make sense. At least they weren't yelling at me. Flerus? Oh, hey Odin. How are you doing? I'm alright, just have a bit of a headache. Odin hands me a mug, which I gratefully take. The herbal tea brings warmth back to me, makes breathing a bit easier. I was about to say, is there anything else in here other than tea when it comes to hot drinks? But then I realised coffee is not really what you'd call a substitute towards tea, which can provide some kind of satisfaction in this specific situation. You know, I never apologised to you for how snappy I was before, so I'm sorry. And thank you for being so kind to me still. Oh? It's alright. You weren't in a good state of mind back then. That's no excuse though. I will try my best to never be like that again. Udon bobs his head but fidgets anxiously. Can you see his tail wiggling about? Is everything alright? Ah, well, I must be honest. It's Aksan who put me up to it. She even told me to keep an eye on you while she's gone. Oh? I looked down at the cub, fiddling with the handle. To be honest, I kind of figured. Oh? I don't know why she cares at all about me. Maybe it's just about the project and the contract. But there's more, isn't there? But I don't think I really care at this point. Whatever happened to Aksan and her people must have deeply traumatized her. A soul sacrificial ritual to appease the heavens and to get rid of heathen other gods, huh? And there was a holy war as well. And it sounds like for this case, as the queen, Aksan unfortunately lost, and her people are at least held captive by the holy thread, heavenly thread. Aksan has lost much, that is certain. She was ready to make a deal with demons to save her people. No wonder she was so suspicious of me in the beginning. She probably is still suspicious of me now, keeping me at arm's length despite telling Odin to take care of me. It stings a little, but it makes sense. It also serves as a way for Aksan to know about what Flarus is doing and feeling, without Aksan's actual presence being there in order to convey that that Flarus is, or Velarus, however you want to call her, is treats people very similarly regardless of their kin, their creature-like status, their race. I clutched up my chest upon remembering the grief and rage Aksan had felt then, the hopelessness, the guilt, knowing that it was all her fault, the terrible feeling of being betrayed, saying that you have a similar feeling as well, Angel. I had never been so anxious to finish my time in the library before. The moment the counter turns red, I rush towards the Hall of Memory. I briefly consider eating before going, but decide against it. I don't want to make a mess of that place. That would just be disrespectful. I do agree with that. You do not want to make a multicolored puddle within a place of utter holiness. You might be barred from it by Deferol. I want to learn more about Aksan. I want to know what happened to her, and if Lena the Blood Queen helped her. I don't trust Lena for some odd reason. I want to know about the fate of Aksan's people, whether she managed to save them or not. I also want to know if this project Aksan got me involved with has anything to do with that. However, in order to do so, I must submit one of my own memories. I don't want to bother Odin this time around. He has done more than enough for me, and I need to find my own footing exactly. Standing on your own 2 feet rather than levitating. Struggling to put your feet on the ground because you're relying on somebody else. Still, I can't help but feel intimidated by the memory pillar. This is going to suck every time, isn't it? Right. Here we go. Closing my eyes, I blindly thrust the key in and twist. I'll latch onto the thought of home, of my days spent learning about the precepts of heaven, of simpler times when all I needed to worry about were my grades. So schooling. I think about my time studying in the secondary academy when I was a fledgling, when I was still a chick rather than a chicken, when classes were more than just about written principles. Perhaps I'm being too vague. With that, I take a deep breath and turn the key. I blink at the small jar in my hand. The substance inside is vicious and blackened. Nothing like the shimmering blue concoction our instructor has conjured up. This is impossible! I've checked and double-checked the ingredient list. I made sure to set the timer correct down to a millisecond. But that's not enough. You need to simmer it down more, and even more, to the nanoseconds. And I obsessively checked the brewing temperature. What went wrong? Passion. This is unacceptable, Flareus. My deepest apologies, sir. Everything looks perfect during the process. I replicated the recipe down to the second. The potion should have... You are missing the point, Flareus. Around us, my classmates have all turned to watch the conversation respectfully quiet, but not at all without curiosity. I shrink in my seat, wings folding tightly around my shoulders, embarrassment burns hot in my chest. Apologies, sir. Following written examples and listening to lectures are well within the minimal requirements. However, as you grow and progress, you will find that inadequate. Instructions can only go so far if you do not have the intuition to improve and adapt. As stated at the beginning of this seminar, this is your most important exercise, which you clearly have forgotten. This is the first time I failed an assignment in class, the first time I'm called out like this in front of my classmates. I bite down on my lips as my vision blurs. I've always been a bit of a crybaby, but I can't cry now, not in front of the whole class. Our chemical crafting procedures are different from the basics of mixing and creating components which you learned from the first academy. In order to control your magic flow, you must keep a clear mind and steady composure. Any unnecessary thought or action can compromise the final result, as you can see here. Can anyone tell me why the concoction has this color and consistency? Several hands shoot up. One gracefully stands as the instructor nods his assent. Sir, the color of this concoction is a result of an excessive amount of concentration from the brewer. The consistency is both a byproduct of this and a lack of control over one's thoughts. Well-focused Flareus must have had intruding flashes in her mind during the procedure. I did not, Silence, Flareus. Damn, these are harsh people. Turning to my classmate, he nods his approval. A fine assessment. Flareus, not everything you can learn is in text. You would do well to remember this. But then again, when it happens again, I have my concentrations up high and my imagination wild. You'd be like, but you didn't even look at the instructions carefully. It's like, well, it's not one thing, it's another thing. I keep my head lowered. Even after the instructor has walked away, I can feel eyes on me, burning holes into me. My wings fold around me tightly, but they provide little protection, small as they are. I want to run, but the ledge continues. I want to hide, but there's nowhere to go. Such a small event a century ago, and yet I can feel it gnawing away at my heart. Have my memories always been so painful? Hall of memory. I want to go back to the Yonder. Please? But the memory is not yet done. Memory registered. Flareus's available exchange. 1. Well, that was... Feeling ashamed by my tears, even though no one is here, I angrily scrub them away. I can't keep letting them affect me. But it's difficult. It's so difficult. How can I move on from these if I can never forget them? After taking a long moment to calm down, I walk over to Aksan's pillar. Bracing myself, I insert my key and unlock Aksan's pillar. Recognize. Flareus Angel. Requesting access. Aksan. Last queen of the Russic Empire. Access granted. Query. Memory request. Show me the memory after the one I viewed previously. Requesting blood oath. Request granted. I close my eyes, bracing myself against the rage and grief that exudes from Aksan's memories. And of course, Lena's shocking appearance. Yeah. Is she just a vessel? The moon is high when I trek my way up the mountain, where I saw Lena last. The night is eerily silent. Not even the wind dares to disturb slumbering leaves. It is the height of summer, yet it is cold enough for my breath to fog. The sky is clear, far clearer than it should be in these parts. So clear that I can spot more stars than even I can recognize. Despite the severity of my situation, I cannot help but let a chuckle escape. The Blood Queen's power saturates the very air here. She is planning something exciting, alright. The fine hair on my skin stands on end the closer I approach the destination. I have given Lena the time she requested. If she cannot come up with a suitable solution, I will have no choice but to seek help from Hela's Legion. By all the gods that might still be listening, I pray that whatever Lena is offering me will work. As per her instruction, I go deeper into the ruins. Despite its dilapidated state, the foundation still radiates with power, ancient, raw, and undeniable. Magic and curses alike were woven into this very structure, where the most glorious empire our world has ever seen rose and crumbled. What a fitting location you have chosen. I only ever aim to please. The witching hour draws near. Akranshi, what I am about to tell you is forbidden knowledge. Knowledge that does not exist in this world, for goodness sakes. Do you have to make this so dramatic? Well, this is a dramatic situation. I have given my word to offer you a solution to your predicament. Whether you are going to accept it or not, I must request a blood oath from you to keep this knowledge a secret. The only one who may release you from this blood oath is the knowledge's keeper. But if we are witnessing this memory, then does that mean that we also have access to this forbidden knowledge? And then from that, we have broken this secret. Do you accept? This severe? I did not expect anything less from Lena, but I appreciate her being straightforward. May I listen to the solution first? She shakes her head as expected. You may not, for it directly involves me making use of this knowledge. Would any harm come to me or my people if I decline? None. Very well then. I hold my right hand, my remaining hand, up. Lena curtsises. Her razor-sharp nail slices a neat line across my palm. Ugh.
I, Akranshi Hasefi Nepitira, Queen of the Rushik Empire,
Rushik.
hereby declare a blood oath under the authority and witness of Lena Lazar, the Blood Queen.
I shall not reveal any and all information that is to be disclosed upon this night between us for as long as I live, or until the keeper of such information decides I may speak of it freely. Pensively I watch as my blood condenses into crimson pearls, float towards Lena, and become one with her crown. As the ritual is completed, Lena smooths a finger over my wound, closing it without barely a blemish left behind. Thank you for trusting me this far. Let us get straight to business then. I would like nothing more. Where I would like to send you is a plane that exists beyond space and time, a world willed into existence by an incomprehensibly powerful being. Deferal? Oh. And I guessed it. A world known only as the Yonder. Are you suggesting I seek help from this being? She nods, her hair rippling unnaturally with emotion. There will be a price, of course, as with every important request. I never expect to get my wish fulfilled for free. But will this being be more reasonable than the demons? And what can I possibly offer for someone who is powerful enough to create a world beyond space and time? A good question. However, that is something that you must negotiate yourself. I have gone ahead and requested an audience for you with the mistress of Yonder. If you accept the offer of negotiation, I may open a gateway for you to get there. What if a negotiation falls through? Then hopefully she will allow you back. That is a lot of blind faith you're asking of me, Lena. I trust you, but I have no reason to trust this mistress of Yonder you speak of. Perhaps not. But would it not be the same if you inquired for the demons' help? Yeah, she does have a point. Akran, I will not ask of you to make a leap of faith like this if I myself do not have faith that this would work out. This is why I asked for you to wait, even when I know how precious time is to you right now. I have made clear preparations. I have reasons to trust that the mistress of Yonder will be fair with your request. I narrow my eyes, contemplating the options before asking. Do you know what kind of being this mistress of Yonder is? I must admit that I'm not exactly sure. All I know is that this being is ancient, someone who has existed before existence as we know it. Kind of like an Arceus then. Someone, or rather something, who was formed before the stars, whose reach is well beyond the endless darkness that conceived the world. An ancient one, then. Something like that. Something more than that. And you think making a deal with someone, something, like that is wiser than going to the demons? Certainly something more powerful and has no need for petty evils, unlike the demons, but far more unpredictable. Unfortunately, exactly. I make a noise in the back of my throat before taking another look at my surroundings. It makes even more sense now why Elena chose this place for our meeting, why she has been scooping it out. The leylands are perfectly aligned, and the ancient magic soaked in this desecrated ground only amplifies their powers. Under the full moon, the air is practically electrified, bringing the level of energy to its zenith, which is at its heights, at its peak. Pinnacle, with the witching hour fast approaching, Lena's power would be potent enough to reach past the barriers between worlds. Clever, but that does not give me much time to decide. I press my lips together, unhappy that I am not allowed to investigate this further, but that must be Lena's plan too. There is no dodging this one, huh? Well then, the stage is set. What are we waiting for? A faint smirk passes Lena's lips. Only the witching hour. Her arms spread wide, head thrown back. She levitates, dark hair billowing as her figure is bathed in moonlight. Morbidly beautiful, just as the strange chant that comes deep from her throat. If she has one. And step into the light and bid it farewell, Akran. A fist over my heart, I bow once at Lena. Thank you. She dips her head. Flicking my robes back, I hold my head high and step into the beam of condensed moonlight. As bright as it is, the darkness to follow is absolutely earth-shattering. So it seems then... Hello, Akran. She has a different look to her. I yell out in frustration as the images fade away into darkness. I want to see more. I want to see the bargain between Aksan and Deferol. I want to know what Aksan ends up trading with her. I want to know what happens next. This is a book, Flerus. Exactly, it's not written down. It's archived in its own unique mystical way. Memory exchange. Flerus' available exchange? 0. So that's 2 of them then. There is a deep shame within me as I stand frozen before Aksan's pillar, so engrossed in the happenings of Aksan's memory. I have completely forgotten that this is something deeply traumatic to her. Indeed. Aksan lost the entirety of her people. She survived through a brutal war that might have resulted in the deaths of her gods. She lived with the knowledge that it was all her fault, that she failed as queen. She was ready to gamble it all away at the mere hope of saving her people, ready to submit her own soul to eternal damnation because it was the heavens of her world that sought to eliminate her entire empire. But then again, why did they seek to remove her empire? There's always more mysteries that lay within the questions that have yet to be unearthed, uncovered, unthought of, rather than the words that have been laid out for us within this tale. Aksan stepped into the unknown, knowing that if she failed, she might never be able to return to her home again. And here I am, having the audacity to think that it was a riveting story. Well, it is riveting in its own ways, but not what you call positive, but rather deep and impactful. How horrible have I become? Day 4 after finding the greenhouse. I can't quite focus on anything. I've made several mistakes throughout the hour, severely slowing down the progress. It's slowly starting to make sense now, the reason why Aksan wants these texts to be translated. She is still trying to find a way to help her people. If the clipboard's numbers were correct, then Aksan has been gone at this for thousands of years. Is that what Devil gave Aksan? Time. That would make a lot of sense. On our first meeting, Devil did disclose that time moves differently in the Yonder. But why is time capitalized on the T? And what Lena said as well. If that really is the case, then Aksan had spent over 8,000 years on this mission. I shudder to think what she exchanged for Devil's help. I doubt hot meals would be the question, would be the reason. The two of them seem to be in an immaculate relationship though, so Devil must have been reasonable enough. Rubbing my forehead, I sigh. Am I getting too ahead of myself? I can request more memories about Aksan, but I still feel ashamed of my carelessness yesterday. I witnessed Aksan facing a world-altering tragedy with such dignity, and yet my first reaction was to get annoyed at a cliffhanger. Compared to her, my problems seem so minuscule. I don't think so. I think your problems have their own magnitude behind them. But it's just not so otherworldly. Smacking my forehead with a book, I scowl. Why am I feeling sorry for myself again? Nothing is going to come out of this brooding. If this project really is to help Aksan's people, then I should do my best to focus again. Exactly. The heavenly host that harmed Aksan's people wasn't from my world. Their ruthlessness has nothing to do with me, but I can understand where Aksan is coming from with her distrust. Even if there is only one positive experience she could have from an angel, I want to be the one who brings it. It wouldn't mean much in the grand scheme of things, but I hope that can help Aksan both with her people and her own scars somehow. You can never really truly heal a scar. They will always be there for show, or always be here in the mind. That is all that I can do, the way I am right now. Oh hey Flarus. Hi hiya. Haven't seen you in a while. Heard you've been bunking up with Odin in his garden. Ah yeah, it's very relaxing there. Helps me sleep better. Yeah, I was getting a bit worried when you kept leaving in the lab so late. Like if you kneeled over and died of exhaustion here, where would your soul go? Being eaten by Devil? That can't be a nice feeling. I guess not. But you look a lot better now. That's good. Oh yeah. Higher terms to rummage around in a shoulder bag. Make a triumphant noise. She proudly presents me with a glimmering chain. This is... just like a cross of sorts. This is thanks for the other day. Seeing my hesitation, Haya takes my hand and drops the golden cross into it. You're pretty hard to shop for, since I don't really know you that well and there's not really a shop for things here. Aksan helped picking this design out, saying that it's an important design where you're from. Still dazed, I turned the pendant around in my palm, feeling a bit misty-eyed. Aksan suggested this? Thank you. Heh, no need, no need. Try not to use it for magic. I'm pretty sure I've purged all of the strange stuff from the metal, but can't hurt to be careful. Carefully, partially because of Haya's words, I put on the pendant as she bounces off to warm up our dinner. It sits nicely under the hollow of my throat, safely tucked under my collar. This is the first time anyone has given me a physical gift like this. I'm going to treasure it for as long as I'm able to. I wonder if in each of the characters' routes that will be given a gift of sorts. It's like a gesture of, you're on the good part of the route. Consequently, this has greatly and positively raised my opinion of Aksan. She didn't really have to give meaningful advice towards my gift like this, but she did. Regardless of my conflicting thoughts about my superiors, the cross still brings me much comfort. It reminds me of my heaven's virtues, of the hard-working angels from every flaw and the good we strive to inspire in mortal hearts. It reminds me that, even though how my superiors treated me was indisputably wrong, I did not have to follow their examples, or do not so. I certainly do not have to be snappy and mean to see the results of my actions. Of course, my wounds will still take time to heal. There are still so many things that I have to make peace with. Memories that will never leave me, emotions I can't process. But with time, everything will hopefully get a little easier. In time, perhaps I will be able to forge my own path and proudly spread my wings beyond the shadows of my past. And I hope so too. Day 5 after finding the greenhouse. Today has gone a lot smoother than yesterday. With renewed vigor and motivation, I dove headfirst into the translation and managed to catch up to 80% of my usual speed. With a much improved mood, I drop by the greenhouse to ask if Udon wants to have dinner with me in Haya. Well, I do spot Udon, but he is not alone. I don't think you should. You're cute. Okay. Okay, this is the first I've seen Aksan praising someone. What now? And why is Aksan calling Udon cute? Blinking like only gave as Aksan leans further into Udon's personal space, making the snake shrink away in discomfort. Do Aksan and Udon have that kind of relationship? I doubt it. Aksan's back already? Why is her voice so high-pitched? Here, snaky. Odin all but flinches at a finger prodding his chest, letting out a squeaking noise that I've never thought a half-snake creature could make. Please, let me go. Oh, that's a doppelganger, so Jae-yin, that is enough. What is going on? There are 2 accents. What kind of hallucination is this? What kind of dream is this? The first accent, the one that still has a finger stuck on Udin's chest, pouts. The second accent, the one who is glaring daggers at the first one, makes an intimidating step forward. Yeah, I thought that is so unlike her. Ji-yin, with a long, high-pitched whine, the first accent seems to shrink physically. Okay, so you're a person that can morph yourself into other beings. A puff of smoke after and standing in place, the first accent is a very pink girl. With 9 fluffy tails wagging in excitement and billowing clothes that are a bit too big on her. She grins up at Aksan with a mischievous smile, for goodness sakes. A 9-tailed fox. Noodle yummy. Please refrain from eating me. She will not do such a thing. Ji-yin. Ji-yin! Before anyone could react, Ji-yin bounces out at bounces out of Aksan's reach and barrels towards me. Oh, me? I'm not delicious. I'm not chicken. Yena smells chimcat. You smell what now? I stand frozen before a bouncing fox spirit because that's the only thing Jin can possibly be as Aksan rushes after her. Damn, Odin, the traitor, wisely slinks away. Yeah, wisely. Chimcan. I'm not chicken. I look for Jin to Aksan, a headache starting to form as the former chants merrily. Did this pipsqueak just call me a chicken? Yanya wants Chimcan wings. You're not getting chicken wings. And my wings aren't chicken as well. They're angel wings, I'll have you know. God damn it. Amidst the confusion, Aksan manages to coerce Ji-Yin to the dining room, where, much to my dismay, the foxchild appears with a bucket of chicken wings. Seems like this kind of fox spirit would originate from China, given her name. Moments after, before Aksan could explain anything, Haya shows up and seems endlessly fascinated by Jin-Yin. Leaving the two of them to babble at each other at the table, Aksan and I reconvene at the counter. So, this is the being that Cassius did not want to come to, Yonder. Or at very least, anybody else outside of Yonder just wandering in. Please tell me this isn't who you and Cassius were up. How many times am I going to predict something? I still distinctly remember that argument in front of Devil. What the hell is Aksan thinking, bringing a child into the Yonder? But it's not just about the fact that this being looks like a child, it's about their abilities. What they can do that you cannot. Seemingly able to read my thoughts, Aksan huffs, irritation permeate in every line of her body. Do not let her looks and mannerism fool you. This is not a child. She certainly looks like a child to me. The exasperation on Aksan's face is palpable. You have fox spirits in your world, yes? Yes, they are quite the staple figures in Eastern myths and folklores. Count her tales. I know she is 9, but oh indeed. A bit flustered, I turn to look at Ji-Yin. She is happily and messily chomping down the chicken pieces, bones and all, while Haya bombards her with questions. There was some complications during her transportation to Yonder. Is that why you're back so early? Yes. We were interrupted while opening a portal for her to come here. Is that why? Yes, Ji-Yin regressed in age because of this. At least mentally and physically. Her spiritual potency remains the same, however, which makes her magic more volatile. Okay, that's one way of looking at it. You are knowledgeable. I don't know whether to take that as a compliment or an insult. Just take pride in it. It's basic. What are you going to do with her then? She was going to be a key figure in my project, but with her current state, there is going to be quite the delay. Aksan has gone through this much work to get Ji-Yin here. Someone like that must be extremely powerful and capable. I open my mouth to speak, but there is a sudden curl of something bitter in the pit of my stomach. Is it about the memories that you have uncovered about Aksan and Maynard? Surprised at my own strange feelings, I swallowed dryly before trying to pick up the thread of the conversation. Speaking of a project, I've made great progress today. I have a notes with me here if you want to take a look. Aksan, who has been watching Ji-Yin intently, turns her attention back to me. Somehow, that makes my irritation grow worse. Right. Handing her the notes, I wait as she scans through them, but her eyes often stray towards Ji-Yin. You are working much quicker than I expected. Oh, yes? Some of the texts are quite complex grammar-wise, but it's still fairly easy to translate. I hope they're useful to you. Indeed they are. She glanced towards Jean again. How long do you estimate to finish the rest of the lists I have given you? I'm looking at between 5 to 6 days if there is nothing else from the Sycamore realm. Talk about the really confused here as to what could be the career path. Talk about the translation. Their word arrangement is like a code of its own. I see. I know even then it wouldn't be the full 1 month in the contract, but that would be quite alright. As soon as you are done with that list, I shall fulfill my end of the bargain. Thank you for the hard work you've been doing thus far. Yes, right. My words falter as Aksan walks away, entering a conversation with the other two, and leaves me behind. What is this heavy feeling? Day 6 after finding the greenhouse. I think the heavy feeling has to do something with the memories that Flerus has learned while Aksan was away. That could be it. Or it could be something completely unrelated. Flerus? Oh? Sorry, I got a bit lost in my head there. That's alright, we'll all go there sometimes. What can I help you with? Nothing really, just here to bring you a few extra books Aksan needs translated. Yeah, right. We're a playful salute. Haya runs off to a different part of the library. Well, I thought you were banned from the library after an incident. Grown, I scratched my head furiously as if that would bring back any concentration. Foolish of me perhaps, but yesterday's conversation still leaves me with such a morose feeling. The more I tell myself it doesn't matter, the more miserable I feel. Then again, it would matter, because you're whining over it. Technically, Aksan hasn't done anything wrong. She has done exactly what she said she would, and then more. I'm en route to complete my task ahead of time and got praised for it. I get to use my innate talent for something useful, somewhere I am needed. Excuse me, isn't leaving me yonder as soon as possible what I want? Then why aren't I more excited about it? Because beyonder, in some ways, Flerus, is freedom. This is where you can think for yourself, and you can think for others, because you are thinking for yourself and what benefits you as well as those around you. It's not an automaton hierarchy where you get laid out tasks and you do them. Then the next day comes, you get more tasks laid out. It's such a really dry but narrow monologue within the heavens. From this point of perspective, I should have been excited to leave, should have been glad I will get to leave sooner than expected. I have briefly thought that it's because I know nowhere else to go, but that isn't true either. Through the long list of texts Aksan wants me to translate, I've learned about so many worlds and realms out there. Some promise such literacy wealth that I can't possibly imagine. I could go anywhere I want. It's literally in the contract. And yet, why do I keep feeling that I'm being tossed aside again? Ji-Yin isn't my replacement. Aksan intended for her to fill in on a different aspect of the project. Ji-Yin can't do what I can exactly. But it's difficult to think like that when I was more or less dismissed the moment she showed up. Ferris, you gotta stop. I wasn't dismissed. I'm about to complete my task and I'm getting what I agreed to. But it's difficult. So difficult to ignore the growing hollow in my chest. Ah, here you are. Here I am. Before I used to associate with Devil as now gone. The anxiety associated with seeing her through. I don't think that will ever fade. the feeling of being seen to the deepest depth of my shame and worse emotions, the trepidation of knowing she will speak the thoughts and I can never say out loud. I heard you will be leaving soon. Bitterness settles in my heart. Aksan didn't waste any time to let everyone know, huh? Seems like it. Oh, what is this? You do not seem like you wish to leave. I don't know. Do enlighten me. As if I dare enlighten her in anything, Death will likely knows why anyway. She just wants to watch me squirm. No. Still, this is a great opportunity to vent. I'm not sure where I want to be. If I must be completely honest, I'm getting comfortable with a routine here in the Yonder, and I have Aksan to thank for it. However, I'm well aware that the moment I complete my task for her, I'll have no purpose here. Sure, I can offer to help hire with her project after, but I don't think that would be wise. How so? My wings flutter nervously. My condition is worsening, if you could call it that. Recently I found that I need to hydrate myself, not to the frequency of a mortal, but I can imagine that would be soon. Other necessities will follow at this rate. Soon I will be nothing but a mortal with wings. That's not something I want. You wish to stay as you were made. I do. But you do not wish to return to where you came from. I don't. Pain laces through my chest. I clutch at the pendant on my neck, drawing strength from it to continue. I know now that there is something profoundly wrong with where I came from, something awful in the way they treated me. But I still believe in the teachings of God, of the values and virtues we as angels are supposed to uphold. You can still believe in those teachings and the values and the virtues, but you don't have to have that automaton-like hierarchy. I believe in kind and mercy. I believe in temperance, patience, and diligence. Just not the way my superiors conducted themselves. Then you don't have to be like them. The pain eases. I take a slow inhale, then stand a bit straighter, so I cannot return home either. Speaking those words hurt, but at the same time it feels like the hurt of pulling out a shrapnel in my heart. The hurt of an open wound bleeding, but perhaps with time will heal. I see. But you do not know where to go either. I don't. There are countless worlds out there I know now, but I know none of them, so I have no tether, no connection. No matter how sure I am of myself, which I am not, if I start out somewhere unknown, alone, I will surely perish. But I don't have the time to learn about where I might be going either. Indeed. Not a new place that you only have learned from books. I wonder if she knows that you have access to Hall of Memories and looked through Aksan's Hall of Memories and unlocked Aksan's memories. I'm trying to say access. Access Aksan's memories. I blink at the strange way she phrases the words. Yeah. No. Do you think Aksan would allow me a few extra days to think about it? I am sure she will be open to suggestions. After all, she did agree to take you anywhere you request, right? Ah, right. It didn't register to me what Devil was hinting at until late that night, when I'm preparing for bed. Flarus, you're such an idiot. Huh? But yeah, what do you mean by that? You keep loathing yourself. Okay, people, we're going to end off today's episode here. Another really in-depth episode going on here. And I feel like slowly and surely, our protagonist is slowly letting go of the hierarchy, automaton-like ways in which her heavens have taught her to abide by, and then one day teach and be like them as well. But then again, being taught like that for hundreds of years, surely you would be like that by now. Maybe in the knowledge-based way, but not within the emotion way, as it were. So thank you all so much for watching. like, learning about Aksan's past like that, it does give some gravity, because Aksan's empire's fallen, and she would have been looking for any kind of direction to look towards in order to revive her empire in such a way. And she wants to go to the darker places of reality in this case, which would be the demons. But this Blood Queen suggested not to do that, because then, yes, you would probably free your people, but you wouldn't free yourself from your own torments. And then therefore there would be a power struggle, because the Queen of the Empire would be subjugated to eternal damnation. And with that, I do not believe that either Vedorus or Aksan has memories or experiences that have less or more gravity behind them. But it's just the fact that the memories that Vedorus has are very individualistic. Like, it only affects her, because her superiors don't really have any kind of connection with their inferiors. It's just more of a basis of, okay, you're given this angel to work with, just do your job. And they do their job, and possibly do their job immaculately, except the one that was fallen. Or it could have been a student like Vedorus was, and they didn't do their tasks, or they did a crime that's so heinous that it deserves that kind of treatment. But yeah, it is a very, very complex story in its own ways. The more you uncover, the more questions you have. But there always seems to be no answers to them unless you really, really look into the Yonder that is. Thank you so much for watching, and see you all in the next time of Yonder World. Thank you all so much for watching, and take care of yourselves.